Hey guys, hope I'm catching you all on a great day and welcome to another qmoniep build video. This one is the ultimate void hammer build. Now the story behind this build is definitely bittersweet because I had to let go of my original Mobius build with the stasis. That one definitely was the toughest build. I had to sit down and put together and think about it and make sure all the synergies aligned and make sure we had stasis. So it took a lot to go ahead and dismantle that, but this was definitely worth it with the results we got. Now the key thing about this build, guys, we're going to be using the Qaeda amulet and the Drazkul's void hammer. Now we're going to go dive into some other items as well, but those are the main two parts of the build. So let's go ahead and look at the hammer. The hammer reads, whenever we consume curse, it applies greater mark of weakness that lasts for 10 seconds for each curse stack that's consumed. So the thing I think that keeps a lot of folks away from this is consume with the hammer. It's already sluggish. Then you have to do a timing attack or a charge heavy attack with the hammer. Is going to be pretty sluggish to go ahead and pull that off. But now that's where the Qaeda comes into play, because we're also going to be able to consume with our shield, guys. So that's definitely the reason why I went ahead and thought about putting the Qaeda and making this a shield build slash hammer build, so you can go ahead and consume, right? So let's go ahead and read the Qaeda primary. So for each capped resistance, we get 22% shield charge speed and 23% shield damage, right? Now I think you guys see where I'm going with this. The shield is definitely going to help us consume to apply that greater mark of weakness rather than using the hammer. Not to mention we're also going to be doing a ton of damage, guys. So that within itself, we're going to be doing a ton of damage whenever we consume, whether we're doing the spectral or whether we're doing the circular motion and consuming it afterwards, guys. We're doing a ton of damage. I'll go ahead and show you some examples of that. Now just to say, once you're done doing that damage, you're also going to be getting explosions because we're running the beetle talisman, guys. So the beetle talisman, of course, it unleashes a shockwave that deals fire damage equal to 25% of the damage dealt whenever you consume an element. So we're going to be doing a ton of damage just from consuming itself. We're going to be doing a secondary part of the damage with the beetle talisman, and then once we're done, they're going to be hit with the greater mark of weakness. So they're not going to hurt us at all. It's going to be like mosquito bites, guys. I'll go ahead and throw some examples up of me taking damage while they're inflicted with the greater mark of weakness, but this definitely would help if you're playing multiplayer, guys. And the other weapon we're going to be using is the twin dragons, but I actually go ahead and put a picture up of the other dual blades you could use that actually has the perk on it already. But the twin dragons I have, you get 10% weapon tech charge whenever you soul shatter, but the kicker is we gain 8% weapon tech charge whenever we inflict the ailment. So whenever we're using our shield with Mobius, her shield automatically inflicts curse. So whenever we're throwing our shield, if we do it in a circular motion, every enemy hit we get in weapon tech. So we don't need the lion talisman. It's actually not important at all with this build, guys. And just to go over some of the secondaries we're using with the twin dragons, we're using soul shatter build up and weapon tech charge speed. The weak point is not needed. Next, of course, we're going to be using the heavenly reversal to go ahead and do timing attacks to consume ailments. I did try out the diamond charm for this, guys, but it was still too sluggish. It didn't work out. I definitely would recommend using the heavenly reversal instead. By the way, I didn't call out some of the secondaries on previous items, but what you want to look out for is ailment power and weapon tech charge speed whenever possible. Next, we're also going to be using the eye of the dragon, of course, for our survivability. Now the Macaulay as hell would be a nice option, but unfortunately we don't have weapon tech inflict ailments on the weapons. None of the new weapons have that. Hopefully in the future we might get an item to go ahead and offset that where we could have both, but who knows. It's tough though, because when you do use consumption for a kill, it doesn't register and you don't get that back with the eye of the dragon. So, but again, hopefully we'll get that in the future. All right, now the last two items on our front page are the obsidian star for a life stone. Of course, we're getting void damage with that, and of course the plague pendant. We're going to need that for our ailment power, guys. Alright, and next, before we get into the augments, let's go ahead and look at the detailed stat sheet. You see I have my resistances up at 63%. You don't have to get it that high, but you definitely want to cap them out for the Qaeda to work. Might have already have an idea of how I've done that. I'll go ahead and show you when we get into the augment section, but you need that. Also, you want a little bit of soul shatter build up if you're using the dual blades that I'm using or a variation of it. Definitely wants a little bit of soul shatter, so you can go ahead and soul shatter and get some weapon tech whenever you need that. Also, you could go ahead and take a look at the shield charge speed. Make sure you get that at a good amount because of the Qaeda, just to make sure it's working. Mine's at 11 seconds. Also, you go ahead and check out the shield damage, but other than that, you should be fine. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the augments. My first might augment is the force of nature. Of course, I don't max it out all the way. I don't recommend doing that. Go ahead and max yours out, guys. I just always forget because I'm always tinkering with different things, but we want to get this because we gain 5% weapon tech charge whenever we defeat an enemy. We're going to be overpowered with our shield, guys, so you're going to be able to kill enemies enemies pretty fairly easily. So you're also going to be good weapon tech whenever you inflict that ailment on them, and also if you defeat them, you're going to get more weapon tech charge from that as well. Okay, and for our second might augment, we're going to be using Paradise. This gives us 21% weapon tech charge speed for 10 seconds whenever we perform a crit hit. We don't have that much crit hit chance. You can focus on that on your build if you want. We don't need it, but we're getting weapon tech from different places just to kind of offset that lion talisman, but this is enough to get us by, trust me. Secondaries there are ailment power and polarity attack damage. You don't need polarity attack damage. I recommend vitality actually, but that's what we have for now. Also, you want to look out for that ailment power on your secondaries, guys, whenever you can. Void damage and ailment power, but I definitely will go with ailment power a little more often than the void damage. Now our first spirit augment is Ardor, of course, because this gives us 3% shield damage for every 20 spirit on adjacent augments. We got it up to 48%. I don't need too much because we're focusing on multiple things, but as much as we can get is going to help. Secondaries there we have is ailment power and shield damage. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and look at our second spirit augment, which is helping that out. We have Black Seed, so whenever you defeat an enemy with weapon tech, you gain 17% shield charge, and your next shield ability deals 89% damage. You don't need the primal one, but any one will work. Secondaries there, I'd recommend ailment power. I have ailment duration because it's a primal version. It's the only secondaries I could apply to it. I ran with it, and of course that spirit is helping us out with our other augment, guys. Let's go ahead and start with our vitalities. The first is Tarnished Heart. This gives us 79% curse power while you have no blessings. Secondaries we have there are ailment power, of course, and damage cursed enemies. Don't upgrade damage to cursed enemies if you do get that, but ailment power. Our last thing we have is spirit, of course, that's helping our other augment out to get more shield damage. Our second vitality augment is Rift. This gives us 29% damage for each ailment each type of ailment on an enemy. Of course we need that. And we have ailment power for our secondary, and again we have spirit to go ahead and boost up our other augment. Okay, and next vitality, let's go ahead and look at presence of mind. This plays a vital part because we're going to need this for the Kaida to work. We get 2% to all resistances for every 30 vitality on adjacent augments. Got it up to 28%, so it's definitely helping us out. Our secondaries we have our overhealth retention and overhealth gain. Might not need resistances to all, but it's from a different build, so I kept it there, but that's definitely going to help us out. Now next vitality, of course, we're going to use is glamour. So it's going to give us 90% damage for each type of ailment on an enemy if at least 2 adjacent augments are green. Of course we got that knocked out. And our secondaries there are ailment power, of course, and resistances to all. Have earth resistance, but don't need that. If you get something else, it'll definitely work. Last vitality when we have, of course, is anathema. This is going to give us 100% of our void bonus damage. Also increases our curse duration. This one you might not need it. I tried it without it, but let's say for instance if you aren't able to get your resistances up as high as I have mine at 63, if you get on as high as like 50, I would recommend using something like Fortitude in its place for more survivability. But if you have your resistances pretty high at 63%, it should be fine. Let's take a look at the skill tree. You're definitely going to want to invest in shield throw. You're going to want to invest in shield prime. Not so much shield attacks. You can if you want more shield damage, but most of our damage is going to be coming from the ailment we inflict, guys, so you don't necessarily need that. But we want shield throw because the last ability in that chain, we're going to be able to do a spectral shield throw. That's definitely going to help us when it comes to consuming. Also with the shield prime, you're going to want to prime your shield to do the primed abilities, to do a charge shield throw and things like that. So I definitely recommend investing in those. And if you can afford the skill points, I would recommend investing in ailments so you can get the maximum damage you could get there. And that's all she wrote, guys. As always, go ahead and shoot me a comment. Let me know if there's anything that you would change on the build. If you do try out the build, go ahead and let me know what you tried out and how it worked out for you. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I do appreciate, as always, a like and a subscription or comment. Anything, it definitely does help out when you guys do that, and I appreciate it. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you have a great rest of your day, guys.